Oh, Lord.
Hello, 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 hello. Welcome. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to, let me get this one started. Good evening, good evening. We are apologizing for a delay. We're trying to get ready. We got some folks that's running behind. Forgive us for running behind. We got some sisters that's running behind. Welcome, share, share, share. As our sisters are coming in, these are the late sisters. These are the late sisters that they're coming on in. Let them get in place. The late sisters. The late sisters, come on in. Welcome, everybody. Share, if you could do us a favor, share, share, share. Welcome. We are the For Real Sisters, and we are excited to be here again with you all. We're going to introduce ourselves. As soon as everybody sit down, we're going to give you guys a moment to share as you're coming on. Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
You can tell Trisha's a pastor because pastors always repeat everything over and over and over.
Just in case you missed it.
Good evening. I'm gonna keep saying it because we still missing somebody. So I still want to make everybody feel welcome. That's
Okay.
an introduction.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
And you're welcome.
I hope you guys are feeling having a wonderful Friday evening. It's Friday, and you guys could be anywhere else. You could be doing anything else, but you have taken the time out to join us this evening for our second session of the For Real Sisters. I'm excited that my sisters are here. These are my real sisters. We are sisters. These are my For Real sisters, y'all. And we're excited to be a part of something great that we're doing for the people. And we decided that we wanted to share our uniqueness with you and you. How we love to help people, and whatever problems and challenges that there are in this world, we just decided we're going to add our own twist to it. So good evening again, and we're getting ready to introduce ourselves as our final sister come in and sit between us. She's coming. All right. Let's see if I can get all righty. You might have to hit that button over there. There on the bottom. Whew.
This one?
That I think in the middle. I think that's the right one. Yeah. There you go. All right. We're ready now. Good evening, everybody. We getting ready to start? Y'all ready?
As ready as
Yes,
we gonna
ready
be.
as we-
All right. Who's gonna be first?
You might as well start since you're talking.
Good evening again. Good evening again. I am Patricia Winfield.
I'm Delois Jackson.
Charlene Gaines.
Karen Cheeks.
And Paulette Willis.
And we are the
For
Real
real.
Sisters.
Real sisters.
Unscripted.
Unscripted.
Extremely unscripted.
Unscripted. All right, tonight we're going to talk about stress. We're going to talk about how we deal with stress or how we are not. That is our game plan for tonight. So we didn't pick how we should go first. Last time we started from the oldest to the youngest, I
We
believe.
drew names.
We drew names?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
That was me first.
it was still you first. But I think this time we're going to start with the baby. We're going to start with the baby girl and allow her to go first. And we're going to talk about how we deal with stress. So her name
Why you
is,
get to choose?
because nobody else stepped up.
All right then.
So now this is how we're going to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Miss Jackson.
Okay, so I don't have anything planned to speak on about stress. I do think that it's something that everyone is, a lot of people are struggling with. Everyone's lives are so very demanding. There's a lot of different things going on for a lot of people. But for myself, as far as stress is concerned, I, for the most part, don't have stress. And it's a conscious choice. And even this week, I talked to so many people at work about things that were stressful. And my advice to them is stress is something, the things going on that cause us stress are most of the time things we can't change, things that we can't stop. However, we can decide how we deal with the things that stress people. It's up to us. And I'd make a conscious effort not to stress. It's not an easy thing, and it's something that I feel like I've been working on for umpteen years.
So that means you don't have stress now, but you have had stress.
I have had stress, and I think that my kids were probably in elementary school, and Charlene and I were living together. And
Are you saying I was part of your stress?
no, actually, I feel like I was part of you learning to not stress. Because one thing I used to always say is, why worry about something that we can't change? And at the time, what always sticks out in my mind is we were two single moms, both with two kids, and we were working, just trying to maintain our lives. And sometimes making ends meet was very difficult. And I remember various times where Charlene would, at the time, be upset about us not being able to figure out how we're going to pay a bill. And I know I would always say, why are we going to worry about something we can't change? And she's definitely that way now too, because there's a lot of things in our life that could easily cause stress. But, we're trying, I know she does, and I do, trying to make a conscious effort to not stress about things that are happening that are just out of our control. We do what we can, put forth the effort we can to make things better if it's a bad situation. But I just really consciously try not to stress.
So before we go to the next person, I want to say we do have a moderator in the background. So any questions that you have, comments that you would like to for us to address, please put them in the comment section, and we'll be more than happy to answer them, especially on Facebook and YouTube. Instagram, I'm sorry, I don't have a moderator there this time, but we are working on that because we can't merge that platform yet. But we're working on that, and we'll have that as well. But if you have questions, please make sure, because this is not just for us. We want to help somebody, and we believe that the information and how we deal with life issues can help someone. I just want to say with Lois and how she deals with stress has helped me. I'm jumping over Charlene real quick.
But don't jump over me, because you're going to say what I was going to say.
Okay.
So you just hush.
I do want to ask the moderator to tell me how's the sound and video quality. Okay, it's working well now. It was an issue. She's in my ear.
Oh, okay, because I'm like,
Mhm.
where are you seeing this? Okay. But what I did want to say was, so sorry. Lois did help me a lot, because I used to stress on everything. If I couldn't do something, or if my kids wanted something, and it would just drive me crazy, because I wanted to be able to do everything and get everything done. But after living with her and talking with her, and she just made such a great point. It's like, okay, so you're all upset and you're worried about all of this. Did it change? And I'm thinking to myself, like, no, but I got a migraine now, and I still have the problem too. So let's get rid of the migraine and work on the problem as I go. I didn't want Patricia to speak, because I knew she was going to say that she probably took some of the same things from Dolores, because life is just hard. And if we just worry about every little thing that we cannot change, it's not going to make it any better. So that's just my little 2 minutes. Now you can speak.
So now I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I'm going to talk about me and stress. So I think that all of us deal with stress a little different. I I think I internalize stress for me. What I do, I mean, of course, I do a lot of praying. I try to figure out how the stress that I get is usually from other people. It's usually not my own stress. It's usually like, how can I fix something with my kids? How can I fix something for my family? Because I'm a fixer. You know, when you know who you are, sometimes that can be a stressor by itself, because you are a problem solver and your goal and your desire is to fix things. And that can be really overwhelming when you try to be the fixer for everybody. But one thing I have learned, that also means, that makes in my mind, okay, that I had to realize and say that I am not God. And I had to make sure that nobody sees me as their God and as the fixer, because if that's the case, then that's the problem. Because, you know, if they do, then they're not going to trust the God that I want them to see, the God that I serve. So I had to step back and relax sometimes. That word, that 2-letter word that I don't have a hard time saying, even now.
What 2-letter word? No.
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 that is a hard, and it shouldn't be a hard thing, and it's not a cuss word, it's not a bad, but because when you can't say no, even to family, and a lot of times I haven't been able to say no because I felt that if they asked me, they really needed it. And so I was stressed on trying to figure out how to figure it out for them.
Oh, let me comment on that. You said you had a hard time saying no because you think if they asked you, they really needed it. However, I would say that's not the case, because if they ask you, they pretty much know you probably gonna say yes. So if they ask me, they probably really need it.
You see how that works out. But then at the same time, I have learned to say no to people, and to realize that it's not a bad thing. And when I say no, they really know. That meant I absolutely did not have it. I ain't trying to figure out how to get it, and it just no. And sometimes I've learned that if we say no, they'll figure it out. And that helps them. They're not going to stress about it, but they're going to be a little bit more mature about and responsible about stuff when they come to it. And that helps us not stress as parents, because our children, spiritual for me and biological, become responsible adults. And that's not as stressful. But I also started, okay, when we started talking about stress, I started researching. Okay, so that's what I do.
Well, I didn't have time. We always work.
We didn't have time.
I work. Wait a minute. You know what?
You have more spare time
everybody
than some of
always
us.
say when
you have a lot more spare time than we do.
Or you have more control of your time.
Exactly.
Okay, there we go. I was gonna say,
That's
because
it.
I do work. I want to make nobody understand.
You do work.
I do work.
I agree.
It's just that you're right. I have more control on what I do with the time. Some days I do sleep. No. There is something about working for yourself and demanding your own time, y'all. And I do encourage you all, but I don't have no problem with y'all 9-to-5ers. Whatever your schedule is. But I do want to share a little bit. I just pulled up this little article, and I intentionally pulled this up for us as African American women and stress. And I'm gonna move on because I know I'm pushing my time. But it just said, as I always do. But y'all not gonna take a lot of time, so I may as well use it.
You don't know that.
Okay, they might use it. But here's something that
Let's
it
get to your
said.
point.
Let me get to my point. This is what it says. It says, we know that 1 out of 2 Black women suffers from some type of heart disease, much caused by stress in some way. That means we're not taking better care of ourselves because we're stressing. And we got to understand that stress does kill us. So we got to do better at taking care of ourselves, getting checkups and saying no, and understanding what it is that's causing us to be stressful. So I'm going to stop there before I read anything else and say anything else, and go to the one on the end, because the one in the middle is the oldest.
Oh, that'd be me.
Oh, stress. Well, I will say that we need to accept that sometimes we do need to see a doctor. And that can be very important because you just let it build up. And yes, I have the greatest sisters in the world. And there are moments when I know I need to call them and they will listen and get me where I need to be. But for those of you who don't have these sisters, there's nothing wrong with seeing a physician. Nothing at all. Because again, stress leads to other ailments if you don't take care of them. I'm a firm believer in let's make sure we're healthy. I have my moments where I could literally shut down. But I have these women here to my right who also know that I will shut down. And they will come back and get me. They're not going to let me stay down. They're going to pull me up. And you, as sisters and families, need to respect that that person may need help from time to time. So don't think, oh, but push through and then get over it.
And everybody's not the same.
That
so-
it is not.
Exactly.
It is not. And don't feel some kind of way if you have to take any medications. Nobody is perfect. As long as we're on this earth, we will never be perfect. That's just plain facts. So, if you need the medication, you think you need it, see a physician. You have someone you can talk to, your sister, your mother, a cousin. Reach out to these people.
Your pastor.
Your pastor, reach out to them. Don't feel, like that stigma of mental health. Don't let that sway you from getting help, because in the end, that could be the wrong decision. If you need help, just ask for it. Please. Do whatever you need to do.
There's
If
no
you-
shame in that.
There is none.
Absolutely
Get,
no shame in getting help. Too many of us don't get help. And next thing you know, we've had a mental breakdown. Somebody's committed suicide because they did not get help. And then everybody is talking about the problem. Oh, why they didn't? Why they didn't? Because there is a stigma that is attached to us as a people about getting help. And guys, we have got to cut that. It has got to be gone. It needs not to be even in our vocabulary. It absolutely cannot. We need to have conversations when we have those cookouts and those family reunions, everything. We need to talk about, how are you doing mentally? How are you doing mentally? What's your mental health?
Because the brain is part of as an organ, just like the other organs in our body. So the mental health is associated with the brain, just like we have to nourish our body with water or food for all the other organs, the heart, the lungs, kidneys, liver, less drinking for your liver. And but the little shameless plug. But the brain is not something that people even think about. That's just an organ we have to nourish too. And sometimes what it needs, we can't give it by ourselves.
And even on look, guys, as a pastor, the religion or the Christian piece that says, yes, we understand the spiritual piece, but there is times where Christians understand you have to get counseling. That stigma where, oh no, I'm just God guided. You know what? God even have made doctors for the purpose. You go to the doctor for your blood pressure. You go to the doctor for your knees, your other ailments, but you won't go for your mental capacity. How much sense does that make?
Well, everybody, Tricia, you got to remember, everybody does not know that.
But that's
That's
why we're talking about it.
It's not like we're trying to come across as we got it all together, because we don't.
But
Every last one of us sitting at this table has had struggles with depression, stress at certain times, but we just choose to find other ways to live and deal with that. So we're not by no means trying to say, hey, we got it together. Y'all need to get it together. No, we want to help you all get certain things together by sharing how we do it.
And helping us too.
And it does, because I mean, we help each other by sharing our situations or the things that we go through. See, we have each other, but I do understand that a lot of people do not have
Oh, my
someone
goodness,
that they can
yes.
go to, a sister or mother, brother, anybody, you know, maybe not have a pastor or somebody spiritual close to them or anyone close that way. But there are so many organizations out there now, smartphones, laptops, all you have to do is Google depression assistance, suicide assistance. You know, you just have to take the time. And then I know sometimes you may not be even thinking that way because you're so wrapped up mentally. But you have to just push and you have to really try harder and just think about the fact that I don't want to be like this. I don't want to feel this way
all the time.
I don't want to be going through this. So what do I need to do to have to experience this over and over again and go from there? I mean,
but you know, the fact is that sometimes you will indeed go through it several times.
There'll be things that happen like deaths in your family.
And something will trigger back. And
different
so,
triggers.
So, you know, just don't think, well, I'm going to go this one time and it's going to be over. You know, that.
Well, it not necessarily may not have to be.
Right. But everybody's different. Right.
There's groups out there that you can also, if you feel comfortable and sitting in group settings. And maybe you don't want to speak the first couple of times. You can just listen. You can learn from listening to other people going through certain things, like us sitting here, you know. So
also there's nowadays, especially with COVID, a lot of things are done on the phone,
virtually. Yeah, so you don't even have to be in person.
Even a lot of the hotlines are on a phone. You don't even have to see them.
That's right.
They can give you some advice over.
That's what I'm saying. You got the 800 numbers you can
Yeah.
call. Those numbers are out there. With social media, things are limitless. Anything you want to do, fix or get ahead, study, it's all out there.
Well, you just
It's
said
all out
something
there.
about
Or
social
steps.
media that made me think about social media being part of the
Stress.
issue, because a lot of people who
But it
are-
has been a big assistance too.
well, no,
you know,
but what
for a
I'm
lot of
saying is,
people.
no, I'm not saying
Mhm.
that it hasn't, but it is something that caused some people stress when they're looking at a lot of people's lives and a lot of different posts, and then maybe they're looking at their own situation to be so different, and they wanting that, and that's part of
Mhm,
some people's
mhm.
issue, because
That's true.
that's them, and you and your existence is completely different than theirs,
Right.
and should not be compared. And that's
That's
something
just
that
like
people can
TV.
work on.
That's just like TV and videos. I mean, just because you see these people that look like you on social media, look like everything is perfect with their life, they're not sharing everything that's with your life. They want you to see all the good stuff.
That's all they're gonna
You
do.
know, some people now some people do share everything. Sometimes too
Too
much.
much. Okay, we all in agreement. Okay.
But that was part of why we decided to do this, to be really real and share parts of things that normal people would not share. For those folks who know me, even on some of my Saturday mornings with Pastor P, yes, shameless plug,
Another plug, Lord.
that, you know, especially here lately in the last couple of months, that I have been very transparent in things that I've been going through and how I've been dealing with them. And sometimes it's not because I really want to, but because God really demands that I be transparent and I am really obedient to this call, but also because I want somebody else to be free. And one thing you realize in this life is that when you have gone through so much or different things, you don't want anybody else to go through them. You know, we've gone through things and we share it with our children because we don't want them to go through them. And we've been real transparent with all of our children to make sure that they don't go through some things, even with our nieces and our nephews, to help them get through and over some stumbling blocks. So that's our goal in helping somebody else, is so that if we can say one thing to help you so that you don't go through something that we went through. No matter how small it could be just one word we said on how we got through something. Karen just shared how all of us have had our bout with depression. I remember when I was at St. John, and I shared with them, look, guys, when y'all don't see me at church, pray for me, because you don't know that's the day that I'm dealing with the depression of being able to get out of the bed. And as a pastor, pastors don't talk about the fact that they may be having to deal with depression because of the fact that they supposed to be of a higher standard. But guess what? We still flesh. I tell folks all the time, if you pinch me, I'm going to say ouch. And if you cut me, I'm going to bleed. So I deal with the same issues that everybody else deal with. And sometimes, because more come at us, they tell you when you have a higher calling, there are bigger demons that you got to fight. And so there are more things on us that we got to deal with and fight off, and making sure that we are in position. So we got to deal with that. So depression is something I constantly am on guard for.
And it's something Trisha just touched bases on as far as her calling. A lot of you may have different callings on your life. You I don't know what it is that you may be put here for. You may have been born here to be the next president, or the next whatever, the next surgeon general, or whatever. But whatever it is that you were put here to be can be just as much a challenge and a struggle in your life. And you can't even see that far ahead because you're dealing with the stressors of your life. You have to take those things head on, one at a time, and choose not to. You can't change some of the things that are going on. You just have to flow with them. Because when you flow, if you fight against them by being angry, upset, all the other things that you can be doing when you're stressing out, it's resistance. So you're just setting a tone for that to last longer. So it's better to just deal with it in a better frame of mind, if you can place yourself in a better place of mind, and do whatever is necessary to get yourself in that place. If that means prayer, if that means meditation, if that means go sit by the river, some water, if that means walk out in your yard or to a park, or whatever it is that helps you to calm yourself. You need to recognize that you need to just do that right now and not worry about nothing else, so you can be able to think straight and not have to be stressing out. Like me getting here late, I had 2 things come up that I didn't know I was going to have to do before I got here, and I only had an hour. I only had an hour, and I live in Richmond, 25 minutes away, depending on traffic, 30 minutes, So one of them were one of my children, and I could have stressed out, and I was on my way to stressing out. But I said, I'm not going to allow him to take me there. I put on some of those tones. There's one called happiness frequency. Anybody get too far gone and don't mind listening to some soothing sounds, #happiness frequency on YouTube. It's supposed to help release dopamine and serotonin in your body to help you calm down. That thing had me calm within 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. It helped me, but it was a choice that I made not to go there and be fussing and cussing and mad and this and that, so I'm not, because I'm getting ready to go here with my sisters and we're getting ready to do this, and I cannot be in that frame of mind. So let me get myself together, so it's a choice. It's always a choice.
But something that I thought of while you were talking, Karen, was I don't know what you said that made me think about it, but when we are dealing with in our everyday life with people who we come into contact with, family, friends, or whoever, there's many people that we may encounter that seem to always got together. Those sometimes are the people we need to check in with to just say, how are they doing? Because that's what you just don't know. And even if it's not somebody who seems to have it all together, if you have somebody that you care about, that you are interacting with regularly, ask them. I mean, they may tell you, they may not tell you, but at least it could start for them to know that, okay, yeah, they do care and I could get help. I mean, I don't know, but we could check in with people to see how they're doing.
Yeah, because there's plenty of people out there that their lives are so bombarded and so many things going on to where they feel like they have to do everything and they're that one just doing everything and nobody cares about them
Right.
and what they're going through.
And you don't know that
And
that's
you
going on
don't
with
know.
them. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right.
You know, one of the other things that I was looking at is some people, when stress is bothering them and everything, they don't even realize that they're stressed.
Excuse me.
And you really have to look at yourself to see, well, you know, why has so many things changed in my demeanor and, you know, the way that you're happening? Because it may be something that you don't even realize you're stressing about. And you have to be able to recognize it in order to be able to get help. So also take that time. If you feel that something has just completely changed, just stop for a second and say, okay, what's going on? You know,
Or
to
do
make
a
sure.
Google search to see some of the signs of certain things, because then you read, it's like, oh, that is happening with me, and I didn't realize it was an issue.
Exactly.
Right.
That is so true. Sometimes, as Lois was talking about, you know, checking in those people that we consider strong. Sometimes you are the strong person that somebody needs to check in because nobody checks in on you. I know that very rare do anybody call me and say, except for these girls here. Very rare do somebody call me and say, Trisha, how you doing? You know, I have a few friends that do that, but majority of the time, it's rare that somebody just, you know, picks up the phone or texts me and say, oh, girl, how you doing? You know, because, you know, but I
don't have any friends other than these four. I don't like people.
But so we've been in this conversation for a minute, so I think that we're gonna ask the moderator. Okay, we got like 20 minutes because our goal is to, you know, do an hour if it goes over, but we want to make sure we get some questions. So our moderator is out there, and so we're going to ask her. Ms. Jackson is going to give us the questions from the moderator. I believe that there's some questions out there.
Tasha.
Is it working?
She hasn't said any questions yet.
Well, are there any questions?
Wait a minute,
Anyone
wait a
have
minute,
any questions?
There's questions out there. I know there's some. I saw them.
There's a question from Vicki Robinson on Facebook.
I saw that.
What steps do we need to take when stress is in your household? Now that question is kind of general.
Right. It's kind of
What type
maybe
of
can
stress
she elaborate a little bit more and be a little bit more.
Yeah, it depends on the type of stress.
Okay. If someone in your family is dealing with stress, what kind of steps will you take?
So I think I would say first, you know, you got to have a conversation with the.
Go ahead.
I thought you were still talking. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I would say first, you know, if the person that you're talking with, that individual, to determine what is causing their level of stress. If it's the job, if it's if it's a child, if it's school, finances. So you want to determine what areas.
Right. Okay. So if the person is someone in your family, in your household, and you think that there is stress, you don't need to approach them in any kind of accusatory way to say you're stressing. You have to be sure that you do it in some kind of compassionate way to even find out if what you're thinking about their stress is really right. So maybe some kind of way you have to inch into a conversation. And what what I have learned that when you're talking to people and it's going to be about something that is not pleasant, I learned it at work. So when you're going to send an email and you're really going to kind of slam them about something they did, you start
with the nice things.
Start
first.
with the nice thing, and best way you can to start
Compliment
the
them.
conversation in a
Yeah.
positive way, and then you kind of lead into it. So you actually, I think you should put some thought into your approach, or even you, if you want to address the stress of someone else, maybe you do
Start
a little
with
research
research.
yourself to find out maybe what some of the ways that you should address the stress with them. But if it, I mean, I don't know, you got
Or even if you're feeling that they're stressing regarding something, you can try discussing by what's stressing you and what's going on with you to get the conversation going.
Maybe they'll open up
that
and bring
way
up.
to try to open the door
Like they're
for
not
a
the only one.
conversation.
So they-
Exactly.
Because they
So
could
I'm
just
not-
be feeling, I'm
Exactly.
the only one. The whole house is fine, but it's me.
Exactly. So
But you
just
know
opening that door to let them know that they're not alone in things that's going on.
Could have.
not letting them know that they're
You
not
care.
alone is huge.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's huge because people don't say it enough. I mean, that's one thing
Mm-hmm.
in our family.
Communication is
It really
definitely the key.
Always.
Anytime you have a family in one house, and all it takes is one person to be going through something and not expressing it to anyone, it can cause major issues. So everyone should be aware of how each one in that house operates, or the way they carry them, the way they are. Each person in your household, well, I know this one is this way. Something may be bothering them if they're acting like this. This is not their norm.
Right.
That goes back to even the mental health situation or possibility. You need to know who your people enough to where when something is wrong, or this is out of their norm. This is not them. Something has to be going on. And then, like find a way to open up the dialogue with them where you can find out what the situation is. And it just depends on how big it can be. And if it's something that's causing major tension, because sometimes people can be going through stuff and they don't even know how to express or speak to someone to tell them what's really going on until they explode. You might have to go a different route then. You can't always just open up the door that way.
One good thing to have in families is have
Family
a
meetings.
family meeting.
Mhm.
And a lot of times you find out what's going on when you sit down in a family meeting and just talk about everything. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not you're talking about what we're going to buy at grocery store, what movies we're liking to look at, what kind of bills. So, because guess what? This is one thing I learned living, because at one time, with the exception to Karen, me and all these ladies have lived in the same house. And so because of that, there's times when we didn't communicate, and there's times when we communicated really great. And so I learned that I told y'all that I always assume I fixed everything, right? So I'm thinking, I don't have to tell them about bills. I don't have to tell them. And so I had to learn some of this stuff the hard way, because I'm thinking everybody automatically know what's going on in my head. And they don't. They absolutely
Oh,
don't. So I had to learn to have a conversation with people. And then I can't get mad. I literally cannot get mad that they don't know. If I'm the one that is paying all the bills, they don't know what the bills is if I don't tell them.
And it's easy for you to say, well, I'm the only one doing this and I'm the only one doing that. But if you've been the only one doing that, then
Right.
you're doing all
Right.
of that. So
that's exactly
you can't
right.
get mad unless you sit down and you say, look, okay, this is what's going on, family, with the bills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, this is all I can do. I need help from the family for the rest of y'all. This is all I can do.
And-
I need more help. I can't do all this alone. What can you do? Can you do something? Put it out there where, they have an option and they know that's what's going on.
And I say this
You know?
especially when if you have all single women, a couple single women living in the household together, single families. The cord today is gonna die quickly in the office. If you have single women that's living together and habitating to help make it easy, that's gonna be important. Because if you don't do that, you're gonna have problems, and that's what happens. So it's so important
Keep that communication
to keep
open.
that doors of communication open.
Way over there.
So it's so important that communication, and sometimes again, like we said, we
didn't
didn't
get enough question in. Yeah.
all right, next question. Sorry. We can go, but that hopefully answers somebody else's question. Any other questions? Tasha, moderator. And I hope we answered yours.
Go ahead, Tasha. Okay. She was asking about work, school, and home balance. I would also say if you reach back out and send a question to us on a later, because I would communicate with her, because I remember going to school, going to work, having kids at the same time. So I don't know, they may have a similar situation where I could maybe give her some of my tips
Okay.
outside of this.
So yeah, outside of the group, but you can do it in our Facebook, and if you go to Real Sisters page and post there and Real Sisters Messenger, that would be the best way to communicate through that. Even though we're streaming through, my personal page and Pastor P's
Oh, yeah, they got
page.
the other page up there.
I do have Real Sisters page. It's on all of them. But making sure that way, but I want you guys to start going through the Real Sisters one. We just try to make sure we hitting other platforms as well. But that's
Is
if you
another
go to the
question?
Real Sisters. Is
No,
it?
another question? What'd you say, Tasha?
They telling me be quiet, y'all.
When you say it again. When you're always the strong one, how do you ask for help?
Oh,
Woo!
Lord have mercy.
It takes a long time.
It's
a
hard.
process. You don't want to feel like, oh Lord, I gotta ask somebody.
Wow.
Exactly. The how is the worst, because you're like, but at the same time, you just do it. As my mother always say, they can only say yes or they can say no. It's very simple. You know what I'm saying? Either they can help you or they can't. I mean,
And then you gotta not worry about your pride.
yeah.
You have to put. It comes to a point sometimes where you have to put that pride aside, as difficult as it may be. Because let me tell you, it's not just one or two on this panel right here that has that, and still learning to deal with that on, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. And it hurts to ask. I believe me, I understand it hurts, because you believe that you get that thing that you shouldn't have to be asking, but everybody goes through stuff.
And we're all human.
We're all human, so everybody will have a challenge. And so it doesn't hurt to ask. It does not.
And one of the things,
And some people may be out there
Let me
waiting
talk
for
a
you to
minute.
ask.
That's true.
one of the things that I wanted to say on that is, if you are the strong one, then you should already know that because you're strong, you should know that sometimes being strong means asking. It means that I'm strong enough to say, hey,
I need help.
I'm at the point
Mhm.
where I can't do this by myself. I need
Mhm.
someone. So just because you're strong doesn't mean that you can't ask for help.
And well, I do consider myself extremely strong, and I definitely think I do ask for help if I need it. But the thing that I notice with myself is that oftentimes I will wait a very long time.
Wait, too late.
I'm not
Almost the
well,
last
in the
minute.
past, probably so.
Mhm.
Today, not so much. But because I mean, I'm just
Because you're gonna try to do,
evolving.
because you're gonna try to do everything that you can. That's your
Right,
whole
there
your
you go.
thinking, and I understand
Well, that's
that
a
because,
strong person does.
and that
though.
is mine. I know that I'm one of those people. Is like I'll sometimes just say, "Oh well, do I really have to have it? You know, can I make do without it?" But in that same sense, I know when to say,
I need help.
"I need help."
But see, the thing about being strong and asking for help, one of the things about it is
She want to talk so bad.
She about
What-
to pop.
what'd you say, Tosh? One of the things though is that the strong person asking for help, they may be referring to something as far as something mentally. And that would be very, very hard to ask for assistance and guidance when you're definitely viewed as being
Strong.
mentally strong.
Mhm.
But I mean, I think I've told these sisters at various times that, yeah, maybe I am strong and I have a certain way that people view me as far as my ability to deal with various things. But the last time I checked, I was human and a woman. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
That's right.
we all need someone sometimes.
That's right.
Really, I just advise you to talk to someone who cares about you.
Mhm.
Someone who's going to understand that you are human and that you do need help sometimes.
And needing help doesn't hurt, doesn't take away from your strength.
Strength, absolutely not.
Mhm.
It shows some of your strength.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, Patricia.
I'm just sitting here listening, and I'm just going to be honest and say that I'm not there. That's what I'm going to say.
That's one of your weakness.
That's a weakness that I still am not there to where I can help. I mean, I'm just saying I would probably be crying. I'm ready to cry.
That's a pride. That's pride.
Cry right now to say that I don't think I can ask for help.
Oh, but you can, please.
You can.
You can.
Yes, you can.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, you can.
But you
And
know
I'm
what?
sure that I can.
The thing is, how can you talk and speak to people?
About what they should do.
What they tell them
Easy.
that they can come
Oh, wow. I mean,
and
because
ask
you know
for
what?
help when they need to, but you.
I can tell you and I will help you and I can guide you and direct you, but I can tell you
It's a struggle for you.
it's a struggle for me.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I know I will help you and guide you and give you A, B, and C on how to do it.
Mm.
I know that.
But you
But
take your own notes.
But yeah, and I know I'm talking to me. One of the biggest things I know that it has to get to the teacher before it gets to the student. But I still can tell you that I'm not there.
Okay, so we're gonna continue to help.
We'll
you.
work on it.
Yes.
Yes.
Want a kiss?
Next question.
I hug
Go
her.
Okay, hug.
Get off my sister, y'all.
You want to? You
I
want
wanted
to?
to say,
You wanna
the
bite it?
question for the moderator?
Moderator.
Question
Sorry.
says, from who? Brittany Smith on Facebook. How do you tell people you need space and solitude without them being offended? You can't control them being offended at all. You're not in
Mm-mm,
control of
don't have
anyone
control
else.
over them.
However they're going to respond to it.
Mhm.
Personally, I'm really pretty direct. And,
Yeah.
my approach is you just kind of tell them, and it's not everybody's approach because I personally am working on it.
A little
right
rough
now-
around the edges
No,
with her.
because I don't generally take I don't. This is what I say. I can't concern myself with other people's feelings.
Right.
Know what your mama said about feelings?
Mhm.
Put them in your pocket.
Oh,
Don't step on.
yeah. So I mean, you really do need to tell them because then you could be hurting yourself if you
Yes.
don't let someone know that you need a break. You
Mhm.
need because that's how you can maintain your peace.
That's
With your
self-love right
solitude.
there. That's
Yeah,
self-love.
that is self-love and self-care.
Husband
Yes.
It's
and wives,
important.
You have
a
to
wife
have
to
that.
tell her, I need a break. Can you-
Yes.
can you take the baby
Introduce
out?
that person to
You know.
self-love and self-care because they may need the
Same
same.
thing.
Oh yeah,
You
that's a good
both
idea.
may need that.
Mhm.
That would be a way to introduce is that, look, I've been studying or listening about self-care and I really feel like I may need
A little less.
that for myself. So that
Well-
may entail that I need a little time to myself.
An hour.
And maybe
30
you
minutes.
maybe you should think about,
Or even if it's someone close to you, you're suggesting what you just said. Let's say it's a mate. You
Mhm.
they could come home and you have them a bath drawn, and you're giving them some self-care that's being for themselves.
Right.
But really, that's for you. While they in there taking care of themselves, you giving yourself a little
Time.
isolation
Time.
time. Yeah, it could be
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
a
Sit
win-win.
back. Yeah.
Mhm.
Have a nice little.
Mhm.
And you know what?
Chardonnay or something.
That is so. When you think about that with your mate, one of the good things you look, guys, I have been married.
Don't do it.
Oh, here we go.
Poor brother-in-law.
Lord, love my brother-in-law.
He's so special.
Oh my goodness! So because he does not require a lot of his wife, I thank God. When it comes
That's
to
because
that,
it's been years and he knows.
His wife requires a lot.
Yes.
okay,
But it's all
so
I can get.
He happy with this space. Give him a
but,
break.
but I can take space, and he likes his quiet time, and one of the things he does require a lot is that I'm in the house a lot, just in the house. I don't have to be in his face, and so that gives us space. Don't have to be, he's not that I have to be all up under him, hubby-dubby kind of thing, but that gives us that I can be in another room, he can be in his room, and so that allows us to have our own personal time, because I don't watch a lot of TV and he does, but when I want to watch TV, we can watch it together. But most times I don't do that, and I can be in one room and he can be in, and it gives us peace of mind of having separate time together. And I can stay up late at night and sleep on the sofa if I choose, and he doesn't bother me.
That's after 50 years of marriage.
But we've come to know
But
each other.
newlyweds,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know about
different.
that.
Yeah. What you doing on that couch?
Now I do sometimes get there, get the conversation, say, when are you going to come to bed? So, but you got to know when the time to not sleep on the sofa anymore.
Are there any more questions, moderator? We're coming close to the end of the time. That was the last question.
Also,
Hi, cousin Lisa. She's on, y'all.
Hi, cousin
Lisa.
Lisa.
we are. I'm hoping that this was good for everybody. I think I like this. This was a good topic. It was heavy and easy at the same time. It pulled some stuff out of us that I didn't think I was going to have to share, but it did. Something I'm going to have to work on, that I had to work on. I think that all of us learned something about ourselves as well, that we've got to do better. Instagram, again, I say thank you guys for joining us as well. We apologize that we don't have a moderator there. If you all have questions, we will definitely check those and respond back to those questions as well, to that. But I thank you.
Tell Janice hi. She says she's on. She said hi.
Hey,
Aunties and mama.
Janice.
Hey, Janice.
Hey, baby.
But everybody, we really appreciate you all taking the time to join us for Real Sisters. We'll be back next month. We're only doing this on a monthly basis right now. So we really do appreciate you all joining us.
Yes.
Each and every
Thank you.
month we're doing this. Usually the fourth, I think we're actually doing it the fourth Friday. I think we're doing it a little early this month.
Oh, probably.
Well, we
Because
can
some
just
people-
do it
see, it was supposed to
for
be
the
on the
fourth
plan.
week from now.
Yeah, we're doing it
Just
4
every
weeks
4
from
weeks.
there. Every 4 weeks, we're going to do it. And it's always going to be on a Friday at 7:00. So tune in. We don't know what our next topic is going to be yet, but we're excited for
You can
Real
send some
Sisters.
topic
You can
suggestions.
send some topic suggestions.
I got a suggestion.
Okay.
How many times do you use the word
Did I do that? Did I do that?
Yes.
Yes,
Lord,
Pat.
I'll be counting.
Did I do that? Okay. So I will not be doing that again. I really appreciate each and every one of you joining us. Thank you again. So anybody has anything else to say?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Be
everybody.
blessed.
Have
See you
an
next
awesome
time.
Have a good
evening.
one.
Have a great weekend.
Yes.
See you all tomorrow morning on Saturday mornings with Pastor P. Love you guys. Have a great one.
Shameless.
Right.
Shameless.
No shame.